It's just how you accomplishing it.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Fast Guard News. I'm your host, Roderick C. Payne Jr. I'm here with a prestigious individual. He's also my cousin, Simon Barnes, PBSO, retired captain. I'll let him tell a little bit about himself. How you doing, Simon?
Doing good, cuz. Simon Barnes. I'm the fourth. I have 36 and a half years of law enforcement experience. Experience comes from Boca Raton Police Department, SWAT Team, Detective Bureau, Vice at Boca Police Department, Patrol Operations, then to the Sheriff's Office, Patrol Operations, south end of the county, then to narcotics, working undercover for several years, and then the tactical unit, which dealt with the worst of tracking them down and surveillances, robberies.
So 36 years, what year did you start?
I started in 1985.
That means the crack, it just hit.
Crack was wide open, open market. Yeah, crack was open market, deadly.
So when you look back at some of these shows like Snowfall or like some of the shows that's on TV, New Jack City, all of these stories trying to depict what was going on, you were in it when you would see a person one day and they're like in college doing great for themselves, got a full-time job, and then the next month they're hooked on crack.
On the way down. Yes, on the way down. And it happens fast. That's the problem. People think they have control of it, but you don't.
No,
it has control of you. Exactly. And a lot of these drugs, they control you mentally, then physically, and you're done.
Correct.
You don't get out until you, the person, the addict, wants to change. Until then, the family is going to come apart trying to help you, and you don't want that help. But you exploit the family for money.
To supply your
to
habit.
supply your habit.
So,
Yes.
man, law enforcement is tough.
It is.
Being a black man in law enforcement is sometimes challenging.
Very.
I went through it. I'm sure you went through it at different levels. I talked to other people that are higher up majors for a lot of them big agencies.
Right.
And they tell me the same thing. So a little bit about your experience in law enforcement as far as like, what was your goal every day when you woke up and you said, hey, I'm going to become a police officer? Tell about your history, what led you into law enforcement.
Thank God I had two professional parents that knew education was the way out of a life with no future. So from day one when we were born, we knew we were going to college. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. My parents were the first in their families that went to college, so that's what was going to happen with their kids as they grew up. And that's what they did. Both parents owned a pharmacy. They owned two pharmacies in the neighborhood of Delray Beach, which is Fifth Avenue Pharmacy, which was 104 Northwest Fifth Avenue, in the heart of the black community of Delray, in which that was Delray Beach's Black Wall Street.
Correct. All the well-off black folks at that time.
Everybody that run businesses, they were all business professionals. Every business on Atlantic Avenue, east of Interstate 95 to Swinton Avenue, was black owned.
And see, that was a whole nother time when I came down to Delray. I remember going by Dr. Bond's drugstore.
Right.
I remember they had a couple spots over there that served different things. They had the Paradise nightclub.
Yes.
So you got to see Delray go through the transition to what it is now.
Right.
Now it's upscale chic.
What happened to Delray is what's happening to many communities in the United States. It's happening to the black communities, and everybody knows it today as Community Redevelopment Agency.
CRA.
CRA.
And how did that come to, did it help black people or did it hurt black people?
Hurt.
How so?
If you go down to Delray Beach on Atlantic Avenue now, you will be lucky if you find 4 to 6 black businesses owned by blacks. They have all been bought, shut down, bulldozed, and now there's all buildings, businesses with apartments on the second floor and up that are not owned by blacks.
Correct.
In that community.
And like you said, that was a foothold when you were growing up. That was where the blacks were.
Yes.
Now, what contribution do you think crack and everything else that happened during that era had with bringing the black businesses down to where they had to go out of business? Or
well, crack itself was a different monster in the black community. Crack cocaine provided the ability for legislatures to put us in jail for 3 sales, sometimes up to 10 years.
The mandatory minimum.
Mandatory minimum.
What fun that was.
Oh yes, exactly. And to think of it, you still have some people in prison, majority blacks or brown, but the majority were blacks during crack epidemic, and they're still in prison. Okay, and now we've seen where the laws have changed to where marijuana is now the new change to becoming legal. But you've got people that are in jail for life for distribution of marijuana.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you feel those people should get out, being a prior law enforcement officer?
If they're changing the laws currently, where they are downgrading the penalties, yes.
So as a prior law enforcement officer, retired, I uphold the law. I back the blue always. I know you back the blue, you back military.
Right.
But right is right.
Exactly.
And so when you're looking at how these things are shaking out and how people are still paying the price, 50 years later, 60 years later, it's like, come on now. You know, you paid your retribution.
Right.
What now? You know, it's your whole life is gone. We see people getting out of jail every day, getting exonerated. Come to find out the DNA evidence didn't match because of advancements in DNA, the Freedom Project. We look at all those things and you realize that the damage has been done. And even when you pull a person out of jail, out of incarceration, and say, okay, you know, we're going to give you $3 million. What's going to happen to that $3 million?
It's gone.
The lawyer going to take a third.
Exactly.
They're going to get the rest of it. They don't understand taxes.
Then there's the family and the friends that have got their hands open. And they're going to take advantage of them because the last 20 years, 10 years that they've spent incarcerated, life on the outside have changed.
Dramatically. And so, you know, they now into a situation where they don't understand anything that's going on. Going to run through the money and be back broke again.
Right.
And then recidivism. They're going to try to.
Exactly.
Let me try to do one last play.
Right.
And you end up back in the cage.
Right.
It's sad. And so with that experience in law enforcement, you know, part of the reason that I was compelled to do this interview is you one of my heroes in law enforcement. You not because of circumstance, but you did go through multiple shootings and where you came out on top because you're here with me doing this interview.
Right.
But could you explain the mindset? Because now in day it's a situation where everybody wants to have a concealed weapon. Everybody want to be packing.
Right.
And, you know, they changed the laws in the state of Florida. Now you don't have to have a concealed weapon license. You don't even have to go through training.
Right.
You could just buy a gun, cool down period, and then get the gun. Being somebody that's been in shootings, could you explain the mindset of somebody that goes through what happens immediately when you realize that you're going to have to use deadly force?
Well, one thing about it in reference to people that would ask the question of, can I get a concealed weapons permit? The first question I would ask them is, are you willing to kill another human being in order to save yourself or the life of another family member or friend, or depending on the situation, the circumstances that you're involved, an active shooter situation? And if they hesitate 2 seconds, that's 2 seconds too long. And my answer would be, no, you do not need to carry a concealed firearms.
Correct. Because
if I can see it in 2 seconds, the bad guy is going to see it in 2 seconds.
And so when you made that decision to use force, what was going through your mind? I want to get home. I want to protect others. Let me step up and make a change. Let me step up and actually do something. Because a lot of people say they're going to run inside the burning building until they feel the heat.
Feel the heat. Exactly.
And then, you know, a lot of people want to be gun carriers. And this is for all those Second Amendment guys.
Right.
There's a lot of us out there because I'm a Second Amendment guy, but at the same time, I train daily. I've gone through law enforcement. I retired. We work armed security. So I know the business.
Right.
I'm one out of, just in Dade County, it's like 500,000 people with a concealed weapon license. Right. And then probably another 500,000 that don't have a concealed weapon license that carry.
Right. Out of that 500,000, probably 10% think they would do the right thing. Probably 1% have trained and prepared themselves mentally to be able to react to whatever that specific situation is. Just saying, I'm going to protect myself. No, you don't pull a gun out just because someone else has pulled a gun out. Mm-hmm. The circumstances, the specific circumstances to that situation dictates, and you have got to be able to mentally calculate that in milliseconds. Mm-hmm. Because nowadays, as you say, 500,000 people may have concealed weapons permit. Mm-hmm. You pull your weapon, but in that situation, you didn't know there's 10 other people that are concealed carry. And you don't know whether those people have seen all the circumstances that has occurred that made you decide to pull your concealed weapons because of what you perceived as a threat.
So you could get shot in the back, friendly
you
fire.
Can get shot in the back, and guess what? By the time the investigation is over with, you have nothing to identify yourself as a law enforcement officer or even as a concerned citizen. Mm-hmm. Because that situation is fast and free-flowing, mm-hmm. you can end up getting yourself killed trying to pull your weapon out, thinking, let me try and engage a bad guy. You have always got to think about, number one, me pulling my weapon out, what is that going to cause?
Do you know the difference between a felony and a misdemeanor?
Yes. How much time you do behind the jail bars.
Exactly. So
that's it.
Most people don't understand the difference being a concerned citizen and saying that they're going to enact a citizen's arrest for a forcible felony. Mm-hmm. And in the state of Florida, you can't shoot at a fleeing felon.
Correct.
You have the Castle Doctrine, which sometimes
the Castle Doctrine,
and stand your ground.
Right. Garner versus Tennessee, mm-hmm. shooting at a fleeing felon. So people don't have, the average person, unless they've had law enforcement experience or security training, mm-hmm. has gone through the specific laws that have come out through the Supreme Court that will determine whether your shooting is justifiable or non-justifiable.
That's right. So, and I'm always under the perception that there's no such thing as a good shooting, because if it's a death, somebody come back and sue you civilly, wrongful death. Zimmerman won his situation. Yes. But came back and got sued on the back end.
Right, on the civil.
On the civil. So you always going to get sued, right?
Guaranteed.
I'll name two situations that we were involved in. We had one situation at King of Diamonds. You can look it up. Mm-hmm. Guard shot like 48 times mm-hmm. At a fleeing felon. A guy hit two cars, drunk. And then the guards tried to stop the car. They got in front of the car, which was not smart on their part.
Exactly.
Got in front of the car, stopped. The guy hit the gas, hit the guard.
Right.
The guard said that as he was falling down, he pulled his weapon out and started shooting. Another guard seen him shooting.
And started shooting.
He had a Scorpion.
Right.
Dumped. It's a 9 milli.
Yeah.
Dumped. I think they dumped 48 rounds in totality. Hit the building, hit cars. I can talk about it now because we've settled on it.
Right.
They hit the guy twice. Once in the neck, once in the arm. He came back wanting millions of dollars.
Right.
That situation we had to end up settling. $250,000 is what they got.
Okay.
A release of all claims. Like, that's the reality of a shooting.
Right.
They were trying to pierce the corporate veil. They wanted to come after us as a company. They wanted to say how irresponsible and negligent it was. And those guards got arrested for attempted murder.
Yeah.
Mainly because that shoot was no good, right? Mm-hmm. It was good when they thought that, hey, I'm trying to stop him. Right. The rationale they gave to the detectives was that they were trying to stop him from hitting anybody else. Yes. What the court came back with is, if you're trying to stop him from hitting anybody else, you're firing rounds.
Correct.
You could have hit somebody else.
Every round you fire out your barrel, you are accountable for, whether a security guard or a law enforcement officer. Mm-hmm. For some reason, No, there's a reason. But the bad guy, he doesn't have to be accountable. If you look at it realistically nowadays, nobody's going to sue the bad guy. They're looking at the person with the multi-million-dollar pocket.
That's right. Who got insurance?
Right.
Who may be regulated? Who
Right.
may have a license? And that's where the thought process has to come in. Like, there's never a scenario, even with our guards, we have an armed protocol. We can never tell you when and how to shoot.
Right.
What we train for is scenario based. If you feel that your life is in danger or the life and safety of others from imminent death or great bodily harm, then you have the right to use your discretion and say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot. I'm gonna shoot to protect.
Right.
But when you end up engaging and firing your firearm, discharging your firearm, the next steps are critical. As a civilian, even as a law enforcement officer, but as a civilian, you need to call law enforcement. You need to stay on scene.
Correct.
You have to go through the process. A lot of people want to run. There's a guy I went to college with named Jimmy Hare, and you guys can look all this stuff up on the internet.
Okay.
I was at FAM. He was at Florida State. He ended up getting into a situation in a nightclub. The guy forced himself and tried to choke him into the car. Whatever happened.
Right.
Somebody ended up shot in the head and pushed the body out. He left the scene.
Okay.
They sent the SWAT team to his house.
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm standing here, and I believe I'll fact check it, but he's the only person, the only black man that I know of that got off on stand your ground law. He had to sit 2 years behind bars while it was
going through the
courts. And he had a child. Like, God bless him. That that's what my brother. I love him.
Right.
But the reality is that he was right, but he was wrong.
Right. Exactly.
So, you look at scenarios like that, and it's like the second scenario is that we had a guard that was that we working at nightclubs. They end up getting into a shooting, and they didn't want to report it. And we showed up on scene, we reported it, everything went good. The guy showed up in the hospital hours later with rounds. He had a vest on, so he got kicked out of the club, got beat up. He came back and started shooting. He had an AR-15, stood up in the top of a drop top, a Saturn two-door. Stood up in the top of it in traffic in front of the club and started firing rounds. One of our guards seen him, shot at him, hit him a few times, and went through the vest. He shows up at the hospital saying that he got robbed. Somebody tried to rob him.
He's a victim now.
He's a victim now. And so if you don't report that, then now it looks like a crime and you could be prosecuted. So a little bit more about that mindset when you decide to make that step. Were you afraid at any time?
At the time, no, because you were making calculated decisions based on the circumstances that have confronted you right then and there. Because of your training, you're now on automatic pilot.
Correct. So you know about critical stress, how they say people, when critical things happen, they get amnesia. So you can't even remember what just happened.
The fatal funnel.
Then also they say
hearing
some people
shuts
can't
down.
pull
A lot of things different.
Some people get it. I was on a scene one time, and I'm not going to mention the officer's name because it's embarrassing, but we were dealing with a 43, which in Q code, 43 is a Baker Act.
Okay.
And that we were out there wrestling around with this guy, and there was another officer pulled up on scene. As we were out there wrestling with him, it felt like this guy was covered in Vaseline.
Yeah,
we couldn't.
slippery.
He was maybe 120 pounds. I'm 250 pounds. We couldn't get him to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we out there battling with him. His mom's going crazy, trying to grab us off of him. Don't hurt him. There's an officer on scene that could have pulled his taser and tased him and got the whole thing under control. He couldn't even pull his taser. He was like this.
He was locked in.
He was locked, and he didn't know what to do. And I seen that. Then afterwards, like, man, don't tell nobody. I was like, don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody.
I'm telling everybody.
You're in the wrong position.
Yeah, that guy could have took my gun and killed everybody, and you stood right there.
Exactly.
And allowed us to be out there struggling. So
deer in the headlight.
Yeah, and it happens. And you got to think that most individuals that carry their concealed weapon, they're not in the range practicing from a draw, from a low ready.
Exactly.
Even shooting a gun without, did you have earplugs in the shootings that you were in?
No. Not one of them.
So that sound.
Those are just things. But what I will tell you is I never heard the shot.
You never heard it?
Your body protects itself automatically from things that it doesn't necessarily need input from. You've heard of people in combat, Marine Corps, 6 years of service, and what we call is the battle dump. Before you go into a combat situation, I've been on a SWAT team before also. You always go and take a leak in the bathroom before you go out on that mission.
Well, we used to do that before football, before
Right.
high school football
Exactly.
game. It was college, even worse.
Right. And
You gotta
that
use
battle
bathroom.
dump is your body's way of saying, I don't need the urine, I don't need the excrement. Let's get rid of it so I can do battle.
That's
Your
deep.
body is becoming primitive in reference to survival tactics.
And you can even feel it, they say when you get into situations with people, all the blood draws from all your limbs and comes
and your
to
body is protecting the upper part.
Yeah, going to your heart, your lungs.
Right. It's all automatic. For you become cognizant of it maybe seconds or minutes later as to the adrenaline dump and things of that nature. But in the moment, you're on automatic pilot if you've had the correct training. If you have the correct physical stamina and training physical-wise, and then the mentality of what your mindset is.
So from a law enforcement perspective, when I came into academy, they had you had to go to an interest meeting.
Right.
So you get in there, they tell everybody, hey, this police academy, if you want to just to sign up. Then they dim the lights and they play this video. And they show the video of a Vietnam vet being pulled over by a sheriff officer. They show the whole
Irish
scenario.
jig.
Yeah, he started dancing.
Yes.
And then he goes in there and drops an M1 carbine.
Yes.
And you hear the officer screaming, "Oh, stop!" And they show him get killed, and the guy puts one bullet in his head. He said, "Fuck you," and shoots him. And then they turn the lights on, and they said, "How many of you guys still want to be police officers?" And at that time, some people got up and left.
I have all the respect for those that got up and left because of the fact they knew that profession was not for them. Because if they got in those situations and they froze for half a heartbeat,
It's over.
either themselves, but mostly it's innocent bystanders or other officers that get injured from their inaction.
Inability to act.
Inability to act.
And so, like, when you look at that, the same thing happened in my police academy class. They said, raise your hand if you ever been in a fist fight. And out of 35 people, it was about 3 of us.
Right.
The other 32 are out actively patrolling the street as uniformed law enforcement.
Those are the 32 I'm worried about.
Exactly, because they have no street experience.
Right.
I'm not saying somebody got to be the Bronx Town brawler and they got to be getting a street
They've
fight.
never been punched in the face and they've never recovered from staying in the fight.
That's what Mike Tyson said. He said that everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Exactly.
And the reality is that you could get hit. I see it all the time. I see police officers get disarmed. I seen one lady on a traffic stop. They showed us all them videos where she get her face broken and all this stuff, and that guy had all the means to kill her.
Right.
And it's like, why would you put yourself out there at risk? There was another stop. And I'm going to relate to law enforcement and I'll relate to individuals, but another stop, I think it was in Oklahoma. They stopped that guy, white male, 2 Caucasian officers, stopped him. They did everything but kiss a sore on his ass to get him to get out the vehicle.
Right.
Begged him, hey, man, you know us, da-da-da. And then they started pulling on him and spraying him with mace.
Right.
They finally get him out the car. As he's getting out the car, he reached under the seat, grabbed a firearm, pop, 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 and then came back, pop, pop. One of them died, one of them critical condition. I don't know if he passed away. But you look at that, and it's like, as you play Monday morning quarterback and you review the film, it's like, man, what were you thinking? Yeah. How do you give your life up to these people? Why were you out there trying to be so nice to this person when in other situations other people did less and got more?
Right. A lot of it has to come down to pre-planning and pre-training scenarios in your brain. What if?
What if?
I'm sitting at a traffic light. I look to the left. I look to the right. That's every single day, every single traffic stop, every single traffic light.
Now, as a law enforcement officer, they were telling us in academy to practice your draw in the mirror. With an empty gun, of course.
Yes.
And I actually did that on multiple occasions. I told you about a situation where I almost got my life taken. We were in Miami again. It's Q code.
Right.
So we was running the 20.
Right.
I got on the radio. I said, "Hey, put me on the 20 on the corner of Northeast 84th Street, 88th Street, and Northeast 2, and I'm gonna be doing traffic stops on traffic stop." As soon as I got on scene, I parked my car. There was other officers coming. Park my car, get out. I'm eating my breakfast sandwich. I got a Burger King sandwich. I'm hammering it. It was my first meal of the day. A car runs a stop sign. I pull him over. I'm like, just step over to the side. I'm still eating a sandwich. Walk up to the car, passenger side. I say, hey, keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Right.
Why did you run the stop sign? You didn't see me. He was like, oh, man, we supposed to be brothers. It's a black guy.
Watch out.
I said, okay. All right. Well, let's just take it easy. I was just going to give him a pep talk, get him out of there. I looked in the cup holder. He had a couple little bags of weed.
Right.
So I said, keep your hands on the steering wheel. I'm walking around the back of the car, gave him full advantage. He's still eating a sandwich. Got a sandwich in my gun hand. Walk around, throw my sandwich down, go to the driver's side. I say, so I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here. He was like, man, you need to just let me get my registration. Let me get my registration. And I was like, you need to calm down. And then he started reaching across. I grabbed his arm, pulled him through the window, put him in handcuffs, hit the 315 button, called the cavalry. Everybody gets there. And I said, hey, I'll go in your car and go get your registration. Step in the car, reach across, grab the registration, getting back out of the car, stepped on the driver's side carpet. And I felt the bulge. I was like, oh, man, maybe he had a little bit more weed in here than I thought.
You thought, yes.
I get out, looked under the thing. He has a 1911 Hammer cockback ready to go.
45.
Serial number completely sawed off. Which is a felony. He was a convicted felon. In possession of a firearm, 10-year minimum. I had to call in ATF, the whole thing. So I realized at that point that this person was going to try to go for what he knows and maybe take my life. And I was out there joking around with a sausage sandwich.
Exactly.
So at that time in law enforcement, that's when I snapped to it. I was like, you know what? It's for real out here.
Yes.
And I had no vest on. So if you'd have popped me, if you'd have got one shot off, I'd have been toast. And you look at that and it's like, what am I doing? Like, why are you out here taking this as a joke? And I think the law enforcement officers all over the world get way too comfortable. This is not your 9 to 5. Like people used to see me doing push-ups. I worked midnight. So I jump out the car on the side and do some push-ups on the avenue.
Oh, yeah.
And they be like, man, we always see you doing
just
push-ups.
To
like, what you
waking
doing?
up and get back in the game.
You back in the game. So as an individual that done narcotics, SWAT, all of this, preparedness is everything. You have to train like a boxer trains for hours to get ready for that 3-minute round.
Exactly.
And so, with the training, with everything else, what advice could you give our viewers as far as those who want to carry concealed, those who thinking about, I want to buy a gun to protect myself? What advice would you give them if you're going to be a concealed weapon handler? I know you said they need to practice, but understanding the laws and understand everything that go into it, what would you say as somebody that's been through that and done that? Because you got into 1 or 2 shootings as a civilian.
Yes. Yes. Off duty. And the biggest problem is the majority of the concealed carry personnel, people do not still understand the state statutes to that particular state they live in that binds them by law to carry concealed legally. Unfortunately, unfortunately, our governor has decided everybody can carry a gun as long as you're not a convicted felon and as long as you're 21 years of age.
They trying to bump it down. They were trying to bump it down to 18.
Right. Yeah. That in itself creates a volatile situation for every circumstance where there's an active shooter or where there may be someone engaged in a shooting and it may be 100% defensive and justifiable. But you and others as a concealed carry may not see the whole circumstances and then decide, I'm going to engage the first person I see with a gun. No, you worry about self-preservation first until that threat becomes your threat.
Until it's imminent. You do better as a witness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. Soak in all the information you can in order to turn over to law enforcement so they can put the pieces of the puzzle. But the minute that you produce and show a firearm in civilian clothes, you now become a potential target for every concealed carry person in that circumstance.
Anybody can pull out and say, hey, I want to be the hero, but I want to be the hero.
Exactly.
What would you suggest is the best gun to carry for personal protection?
That is 100% personal. In reference to the person having training, the use of that weapon, stoppages, fixing those stoppages, whether it could be by malfunction of the handgun, rifle, shotgun, or it could be you limp wristing that handgun.
Get a stovepipe.
Being a semi-automatic, and now you got a stovepipe. If you can't fix that, you don't need to be carrying. If you do not become proficient with that firearm, and proficient is at least what I practice every 2 to 3 months, I'm in the range. Shooting different styles to prepare for 1 engagement, 2 bad guys engagement, 3 bad guy engagement, 4, or even 5. And with that becomes the person with the shotgun, person with the handgun, or the person with the knife. What is your priority? Shotguns first. A lot of damage.
Major damage, yeah.
Then you have to take in the distances those people are from you. Your cover, your contact, your concealment. A lot of it comes into place, but the
Could you
average
break down
person,
cover and concealment?
Cover and concealment. Cover, you have a concrete wall. Concealment, you have a drywall. Which one is going to stop a .357 Magnum?
Exactly. You're going to shoot through that drywall.
I will not depend on the drywall, but I'll depend on at least 3-inch thick
concrete
for a lot of things until you go into 223 or 5.56, rifle type ammo. But contact and concealment and cover, entirely 2 different things. Cover, you can hide behind. That doesn't mean a bullet cannot penetrate it.
They used to teach us get behind the engine block.
Yes.
If you're in a shootout, get behind the end near the front tires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get behind some steel. Get behind as much metal as you can, or as much concrete as you can. You have a choice of drywall, or you got a choice of that 26-inch diameter tree. I'm going for the 26 diameter tree.
Let me get behind that tree.
Right.
So, guys, there you have it. I appreciate Simon for coming through, sharing some knowledge. I hope you guys gained some knowledge and took some value from what we're talking about here on Fast Guard News. Again, I'm your host, Roderick Payne. Simon Barnes, retired PBSO captain and military veteran. That does it for us here at Fast Guard News. You can reach us online at www.fastguardservice.com, or you can reach us by phone at 844-254-8273. Thank you, guys, and have a good night.
Take care.